class. Welcome back to Photography 101. Today we are going to be going over Silas Brown's Untitled. As you can see, this is kind of just a world-class photo. And we are going to be going over the three fundamentals of the photo. We are going to be going over the composition, the lighting, and the subject. We are going to be doing a deep dive on the composition, and we will just brush over the rest. So, to start, we're just gonna get right into it. First off, Silas Brown places the foreground. He's got a great foreground object right here, and it's not taking up too much of the frame. It's really great. It adds some depth to the photo, and also, since he used a higher f-stop, he has the foreground and the background a little blurry while the subjects are perfectly in focus. It's a great way to separate his subject from the foreground and background. So here's his foreground. Let me just type that in. And here is his background. Just great composition from Silas Brown. Just label this as background. You can see he was very intentional when he took this photo. So now we're going to be talking about something else. We're going to be talking about the leading lines that Silas Brown uses in this photo. So here, he has some leading lines pointing right to the subject, the gun in the hand. The leading lines go both ways and lead directly towards the subject. He also has some leading lines here in the background pointing directly to our subjects, drawing the eye's attention towards our subjects. This is just another great example of all of the elements of composition, and if they're done right, how well it can add to a photo. Backgrounds, what am I saying? Leading lines. All right, so the blue is the leading lines, the yellow is foreground and background. Already, just great composition. Now, we're going to be talking about another part of this composition, the rule of thirds. So if we divide this photo into thirds, just evenly into thirds. This is about what it would be. Obviously, it's hand drawing, so it's not as good. He perfectly executes the rule of thirds, places his subject, which I will highlight with a new color. I'll make the subject red. He places the subject right on the third of the photo. This is like the main subject here, but this is a little blurred. It's kind of like an element to the subject, but it's a bit of the background. The gun is all in focus, so we can't include it as a subject. This is a subject right here. He perfectly places it on the third, and he keeps, for this composition, he kept the subject fairly in the center in terms of height, but he kept it on the right side of the photo. And to balance this, he actually placed, let me get a new color. He actually placed this beam right here. The beam, and he has this gun right here, balancing out the right third and the left third. Once again, just another stellar example of Silas Brown's composition. It's really hard to even explain how difficult this is and how brilliant of a guy he must be, you know. On the composition side, that is mainly it. Now we are going to talk about the lighting, just briefly. So, this lighting does aid the composition because he has a light source coming in, hitting our subject Our subject is well lit, and our subject is about 1 or 2 stops higher than the background, further separating them from the background. Like, this is just photographic brilliance. And finally, his choice of subject. I mean, just 2 really attractive guys and someone using a gun. Great choice of subject. And altogether, this is why I think Untitled by Silas Brown is the greatest photograph of all time. All right, thank you, class.